Hello, happy Tuesday. Here we are. Okay, now let's go back to the Arby's discussion we were just having off stream because, hello audience, just wait. We'll get to the D&D in a minute. We're talking about Arby's right now. This week's episode is brought to you by Arby's.
Probably Arby's. Wait, hold on. Why am I in the DM screen?
Because there's 6 of you, and I don't have a overlay on hand that has 6 players. In it. So, well.
That was terrible.
Didn't have the desired effect, as it just sounded like somebody put a fork in a garbage disposal.
Jason's voice. Why are you making him feel bad about his voice?
We love Jason.
So as we were saying,
Arby's.
Oh, hang on. Jason.
Arby's heard us. They got me.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Arby's assassins came to Jason's house and put
task force cheddar.
They clogged his arteries real bad. That's how they get you.
Oh, it's the gravy seals. No.
Seals.
I was not aware that there was an option for non-curly fries at Arby's.
Yeah.
Which was what I was learning before we went live on stream.
There is, unfortunately.
What do they look like?
They look like normal
cut
fries. They're just
crinkle
crinkle cut normal fries.
Oh.
Okay, but I think you guys know the answer to that, because you should not know what that answer is.
Yes, we should know what the answer is because this is an abomination.
Somewhere there's a court transcript that's like, yeah, I ordered curly fries and they gave me crinkle cut, and that's when I killed him, Your Honor.
They for sure, when you order the regular fries at Arby's, like they have to send a guy into like a vault that looks like the end of Indiana Jones, where there's like like a huge warehouse, and they have to go to like the back of it into an unmarked crate and get like the one bag of those fries that they got when the restaurant opened.
That or one guy in the back is like, fuck, and he has to go to Wendy's.
They own 80% of Arby's.
There is a
dumps the fries from the Wendy's container into the Arby's container.
Yeah.
Right
there is a Wendy's by me. I have heard. I've never worked in a fast food restaurant, but I have heard that like the drive-throughs have like sensors of some kind which determine like how long it takes them to like move a car. Give a car their food and send them on, and that metric is used to like rate the.
Yes.
There's a Wendy's by me who like, I have to believe is evidence that nobody at Wendy's corporate is checking that sensor to see how fast they're moving people through the driveway, because I have no joke. There is never less than like 8 cars in line at that Wendy's, and anytime I have had the thought that like I'm gonna go to this Wendy's, I have gotten in line at the Wendy's, and after about 10 minutes, where like the line hasn't moved, I've been like, I don't know what they're doing in there, but I got other things to do with my day, and I leave. Not the sponsor of this episode. Especially speaking of things that have fries that shouldn't. Did you guys know that Taco Bell has French fries?
I do. They put them in tacos.
What?
Yes. Also, remember Taco Bell had wings at one point too.
I don't remember that. I did
Remember
have.
when IHOP tried to be the International House of Burgers for a hot minute?
Yeah. Oh, IHOP? Yeah.
IHOP.
Everybody was like, boo.
Boo. Bad decisions.
Chat is like madness. What is happening here? All right. Anyway, hey, Dungeons and Dragons, right? Let's pretend to be wizards and shit.
We had a whole conversation. I didn't bust this out.
Yeah.
The Arby's hat.
It's Russ Dimmadome.
We have the meat. Here at Del Requisite, we have the meat.
We have nothing else. We definitely don't have sanity, but we have the meat.
What the hell?
Speaking
what
of,
did Matt find? What crimes did Matt dig up?
Oh, I know what he's got.
Can I leave?
I know what he paid a scalper on eBay
no,
for.
it's too late.
No, I don't want to know.
Yeah, it's the Arby's dice.
that looks like nothing on stream. That is in fact the Arby's dice.
The little hat inside.
Hold it up to stream's camera first.
Where did you find Arby's dice?
They made them, and then
Originally Arby's, recently eBay.
Arby's made them, and then scalpers bought them all, and then people
Like-
like me paid $40 for them on each.
To the point where like people like designed programs to insta buy all of the Arby's dice.
I'll tell you what, it is very funny because Arby's is famously the most hilarious fast food chain. So I am happy that I got them, but from an objective standpoint, these dice are shit. Like, they're not good. Like, they don't look good in person. Like, they're cloudy. You can't really see the little hat in them. They're
the hat. The
Look,
hat
they were cured in a fryer at Arby's. What do you want?
The hat was $20 with free shipping. It was 100% worth it. This is the best hat.
Yeah, they're
Wish I had a hat.
the D6 is not bad. The D6 has
Got
a
a
pretty
collection
good
of hats.
Well, you
has a
can't
pretty
you
good
can't
Arby's
really
hat in it.
screw up a square like
Oh, ye of little
Yeah.
faith.
They're
That is fair.
that's the thing is like they're not clear. They are the sort of the color that you would expect from a set of dice that was made in a like grease infested kitchen. Like,
Maybe it
they
wasn't
just
plastic.
look,
Or
they
maybe it
look
wasn't resin,
sort
it's
of
just
dirty.
cured
Like,
grease.
Yeah.
so I mean, I guess on brand, but
And we did find out that there is an official Wendy's D&D one-shot.
well, here's a new fun fact.
Oh yeah,
this was the
they
first
actually
time.
have a roll set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, this was the first time I took these Arby's dice out of the bag that they came in, and I would like to point
they
out that
wet?
the D4 is quite sticky.
So they were cured in the fryer at Arby's. That's what makes
were
them
cured-
official Arby's
They were
dice.
cured in the bag.
I have concerns.
I didn't.
Like
I'm gonna draw attention to the fact that I did.
Does it taste like roast beef?
I didn't taste
you
it.
might want to go
Yeah.
and wash your hands.
I did. That's fine. I
You're-
did forget
you're
that I
gross-
was
you're
on
gross
camera
and
for a
chat
second
out.
there, and I for sure just smelled that dice to see if it smelled like roast beef. It doesn't, but
I can tell you right now, it doesn't.
That's probably a good thing.
yeah, we're gonna.
I feel like I should call your wife and just warn her not to let
She,
Your-
look, she knows.
gross, sticky dice hands.
She knows.
Just text her with the singular word "sorry."
She knows.
Check
I'm
the
way I
garbage
am.
for
Yeah, actually, that's a good plan.
eight empty bags of Arby's.
Now Arby's. I can make jokes about Arby's. I can no longer consume Arby's, or I will not survive. I can't do it anymore. I can't. Most fast food I can't tolerate anymore. It gets immediately bad. Immediately bad times. All right, let's take 3. Let's try and play some Dungeons and Dragons tonight, huh? Little Dragon Corp Cardboard Castle! ! Little Dragon. They listen. Actually, we should just skip the sponsors for tonight, right? Like, they don't want to be associated with this.
Arby's.
Tonight's episode of Devil Requisite brought to you by a cease and desist from Arby's.
Please send it. Even if it's
Yeah.
not real, send it. We'll take it.
I said before
We will
stream, I
post
said there's
that
nothing.
proudly.
Yeah, there's nothing I want more framed on my wall than a cease and desist from the Arby's Corporation.
To be fair, Arby's does have the best social media people. So like, if they somehow
To
find
be
this,
fair,
please
to
give
be
us a cease
fair-
and desist.
to be fair, Arby's has the meats.
They do.
The meats is who runs their social media.
Yeah.
Oh,
I am the meat. You must bow before me. Some meat homunculus. That's a D&D monster for a one shot.
Homunculus? No, we already have the
Homunculus.
what was it the Yamaha Steaks guy, Omaha Steaks guy
Yeah,
somewhere.
we did have the Omaha Steaks guy. Was in the campaign for a little while. Okay.
I'll have you know that I will die laughing if I get a letter from Arby's saying that they would like to sponsor this channel.
No,
But
Oh,
you
you
have
have
to
to
send
you
a
have to
picture
send
before
it,
you die, though. It's
send
important.
it to me.
All right. This is
You have to leave it in your last will and testament that it
This
gets
is
forwarded to me.
This is the new The new campaign starts here. We are getting close to the end of this one. We probably only have like a couple months worth of episodes left before the end of this campaign. Between now and then, everybody's mission is to get the Arby's Corporation to know
Yes.
about our stream.
Oh, I hope so. That'd be amazing.
Everyone just tweet Arby's. Or no, what are we doing now? Do we tweet anymore, or are we? Is it X now, or is it just
They call
dead?
it X.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's called anymore.
X gonna give it to you.
Somebody
30-year-old
tell-
reference.
Poor
Yeah.
financial decision. That's what it's called.
Somebody tell Elon Musk to go tell Arby's.
Call Arby's.
That's what you do.
Whatever, it's fine.
I am pretty
I'll
sure
buy
that's
Tesla.
what you do now. Is you just tell Elon Musk, and he goes and spreads the word for you about the things that you want to say.
Elon, tell Arby's to send feet pics. And he's like, what?
Meat pics or feet pics, whatever.
Meat pics or feet pics? Yeah.
Yes.
Hey guys, I now have to cut out the first 13 minutes of this episode.
No, you don't.
And send it directly to Arby's.
And send it directly to Arby's. Yeah.
It's a special cut.
And Elon
It's the
Musk.
it is the special cut. It's the
Arby's
half-pound
cut.
beef and cheddar cut
Yeah.
of Del Requisite.
Yeah.
I have to turn the air conditioning down up in my house because it's too warm for me to be laughing this hard.
You're
I'm starting
dressed
to
like
sweat.
a friggin' lumberjack right now. Of course, it's too hot in there.
Yeah, that's true. Here's the saga of my shirt today. I went to the gym this morning wearing my Curtis t-shirt,
Hell yeah.
which is not appropriate for my work as a respectable professional human being. I thought I had one of my work logoed shirts in my car, and it turned out I didn't. I just had this, so this is the shirt that I wore today. And it
Farmer
was too
Matt.
obvious. Well, okay, I can't get that to work.
Well, if you were looking for something to bring us down to start the episode, there it was.
There's
The
a
story
story
of
on
my
my
There
shirt.
it was. That shirt.
There was
I assume it was the one with the Curtis shirt with the smoking bat.
no. It was that one I've worn to work because that one is
No.
It
generally
was a Home
not work
Depot shirt.
not work acceptable, but is
Howdy that.
is not gross. In that the other Curtis shirt I has a bunch of skulls with tentacles all over it.
Oh,
Oh
that
yeah,
one.
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
That one.
That one's a little questionable. No, I've definitely worn
Sorry
my
for
Marlboro
being
shirt.
fun.
No, I wear it to the gym and then I change it when I get to work.
Hey, that's fair.
Whew. Anyway,
Dude, anyway.
I've turned the AC down. What did we do last week? Christ, who even knows? 2 weeks.
Pirate
ago.
Adventure.
We did
Pirate.
nothing.
Okay,
Before
yes.
that-
You guys did nothing. Something did happen. You guys are at the island of Glassau. You are, you know that you need to get access to whatever the underground complex beneath Glassau is, where there is another, essentially another star spire chamber, or a ascending chamber. What did she call it? Ascending cave, as the resident of the island, Willow, calls it. You also know that there are Ignians occupying the island. You undertook a two-prong attack where some of the group linked up with the Grimm's Folly. Some of the crew of the Grimm's Folly who remained with the ship when the crew of pirates went their disparate ways it has been kind of in the area helping Una Murderbeard with her her sort of quiet rebellion against the Ignian control on the island. The others of you stayed on the island for a two-pronged attack where the Grimm's Folly and those who are with that are attempting to take control of one of the 3 Ignian warships in the harbor and then use the hijacked Ignian ship and the Grimm's Folly to destroy the other 2, while the other group essentially Trojan horse their way to the old estate, which has been under renovation and is being has been converted to, or is being converted to the Ignian governor's mansion, and is currently the location where all of the Ignians have retreated and holed up as something had been attacking them in the night on the island. We sort of saw part of one half of the perspective last week, where we followed Rowan, who went with Una and linked up with Murderbeard and Thyxus. And we got to the point last week where they had captured one of the ships. And a flare was set off, essentially to trigger the beginning of phase 2 of this plan. So what I'm gonna do tonight is to rewind, and we're gonna go back to where last session started. We're gonna go back to the tavern, the Iron Pony, Una's tavern, where the Fools Errant are upstairs in an upstairs room, and Una has just signaled Murderbeard on a stone of far speech. We return to the scene there, and I'm going to rehash. So the players that were here last week, and the audience has kind of gotten this, but for you players who weren't here last week, I'm going to rehash some of this. This is what you get from Una, basically about the situation, about the plan. She tells you that when the Ignians came, the pirate presence that was here on the island, led by one Gareth Blackwell, elected to essentially pull up anchor and disperse out into the open sea, with the essentially the understanding that if they stayed there and tried to make a fight of it, they would probably lose, and there would be a lot of collateral damage to the people that just lived on the island. So the pirates elected to scatter to the winds, so that when the Ignians came, they would take over, but there would be no need for them to burn and slaughter, essentially. And that's exactly what happened. The Ignians came, the pirates had fled, the people that were still living there, sure were known to have been sort of consorting with them, but they were by all, for all extents and purposes, civilians. The Ignians came, they installed their governor, and they essentially claimed rule over the island. Over the intervening months, that has, that sort of initial lack of hostilities has degraded as the Ignians have imposed their taxes, their rules, things like that, and the people of Glassau have chafed under that rule. Una explained to everybody that as things started to get worse and worse, the Ignians' response was essentially to tighten the noose, to which the people of Glassau responded by resisting more, and that back and forth has led to borderline open hostilities, where the Ignians have essentially begun just charging people with crimes of piracy, consorting with pirates, conspiracy against the Empire, things like that, and have begun capital punishment and hanging people and things like that. In response, some of the denizens of the island, Una included, along with the outside help from her father, Murderbeard, and the Grimm's Folly, have begun preparing a generating a resistance. She explained the plan to you, that herself and Rowan would go link up with the Grimm's Folly, hijack one of the ships, and launch an attack on the harbor on the other two. Simultaneously, the group of you are going to link up with some of her island-based network of resistance. The general goods store in town has been essentially his goods have been co-opted by the Empire, and they've not been paying for them. So he's on board with her resistance, and will set up a fake supply wagon that will be filled with you guys, essentially. and sent up to the manor house. Meanwhile, a group of other fighters will retrieve weapons that have been stashed in the brothel and go and hide out in the woods. The plan being that you guys will attack the house, the pirate ships will attack the harbor and sort of force the Ignians out of the house into the ambush and catch them between you guys in the house, the force in the woods, and the pirates at sea, and essentially like wipe them off the island. That is sort of like the plan that she laid out for you guys all last week. Last week, for you guys who weren't here, we then like followed the perspective of the group that did the pirate ship thing, and they are now in possession of the Grimm's Folly pirate ship and a captured elven warship, and are about to make their move. So I want to now follow the other path to where these will then convene. We'll jump into character now, as you guys are kind of up to speed, I think. So you're all upstairs in the tavern. Una kind of looks to the group of you guys, and she says, "Right, do any of you have any questions about the plan that I've laid out?"
No, pretty straightforward. We sneak in on the supply run, we get in, we wreak havoc on the mansion, drive off or take out every Ignian there. Those we don't get, your fighters take care of. One question.
Oi.
How's everyone getting back to us?
She says, I think the plan should be that as you drive the Ignians into the sea or to their ships, and we take them out, by the time we've wiped them all out, we can pull the Grimm's Folly and our stolen ship into the harbour, and the group of us can then join you up at the estate. She says, I mean, no offence to any of you, but Willow's a little bit complicated. If you're not careful with her, she's like to take flight. Myself, and to a lesser extent, Master Stixis and my father and Lady Rowan have more experience dealing with her. It would be better when you try to connect with her if we were all there.
If at all possible, we'll try to avoid contact with her until you arrive.
She nods. She says, I don't think you'll have to worry about that too much. She's not one to be seen or contacted if she doesn't wish to be.
Alright, well.
May fortune favor the bold and the foolish.
She kind of nods, and she, Osrius, you kind of notice she's been kind of like glancing to you every now and again as you guys all have been talking, and she has like a little bit of a curious expression on her face. And she says, "We'll have to wait for the cover of darkness before we begin our movements, so we've got a few hours to kill. You can avail yourself of rooms here in my inn, the bar downstairs if you wish, or move about the island on any business that you might need. Once the sun goes down, we'll reconvene here and set off." She says, "You there, Mr. Osrius, was it?"
Yes.
She says, "With some time to kill, I think I fancy a stretch for my legs. I have a mind to take a bit of a stroll. Would you be inclined to join me?"
I looked towards the others for a moment, and I was like, Yeah. Sure.
I wink at Oz.
She stabs
say-
you just a little bit.
Yeah.
None of that now. She says, very good.
Yeah.
She says, well, if you need anything else, it's not a very big island. You can always track me down. My barkeeper downstairs can help you out as well. And other than that, I'll see you in a little bit. And
Right.
you guys
Somebody
kind of-
cast guidance.
What's that?
Somebody cast guidance.
Somebody cast guidance. She like heads out of the tavern, and as you follow her, she kind of makes her way down towards the beach. And as she gets to the beach, she like pulls off her boots and like ties the strings together and like puts them over her shoulders, and then like rolls up her pant legs a little bit, and she sets off walking through the sand along the beach, heading like counterclockwise around the island.
Okay.
As you guys walk for a little while, she's quiet, and you get the sense that she's sort of like chewing on some words, trying to like get her thoughts in order. And eventually she says, I consider myself a keen observer of people, Mr. Osrius.
Damn.
My father always said something to me, and he said that one of the most important traits a person could have was to learn how to look to spot the glint in a man's eye that reflects the steel in his heart. You, my friend, you are large, you are visibly powerful, and you don't say much.
It's fair.
I have found that people make assumptions when you're large. People tend to assume that you're stupid. When you are visibly powerful, people tend to assume that you're violent. And when you don't say much, people tend to assume that you don't have an opinion. She kind of stops for a second, and she looks over and significantly up at you, and she says, have you found that that's been your experience, friend?
Ozrius kind of looks at the sand for a little bit, maybe picks up a rock and like kind of throws it across. It's hard, like kind of skipping along for a while, and he gives a bit of a nod, and he's like, "Seems to be so, but what I've learned being off of a mountain is we all tend to fall into certain what do they call it, roles, so to say. Everybody has these ideas and thoughts of guess who they want to be and who they see fit, of who they care about and their eyes, but I don't know, just part of me is be looking for something more, but a part of me is also just maybe that I'm glad I'm here all together.
She says, I had a feeling that that might have been the case, and I'm not one to wax poetic. That's not the point of why I wanted to talk to you, but I have found that the assumptions that people make, that's their problem. And if people are too busy, preoccupied with their own figurings to look past the end of their nose, well, that just leaves an opportunity for someone like you to get the upper hand. But I imagine that doesn't make it less difficult sometimes.
Certainly not.
She continues walking and she says, I sensed it in the way that you carry yourself, the way that you looked at the others, your aura, call it, while we were discussing the plan. I think perhaps maybe even your companions have been guilty of some of those assumptions sometimes. Something in your eyes tells me there's been some rough water recently. Something in your eyes tells me that the violence that we are about to conduct weighs heavy on you. You seem conflicted. Perhaps there's been some violence recently that you don't agree with. I don't know what it is, I don't know you. But I get a feeling. Am I far off, Mr. Osrius?
They not too far off. I'm not one to Aldria said that, like, he's not one to shy away from fight. That's more so needed, but sometimes it's difficult to find the need, the appropriate desire as everybody else sees.
She says, I can appreciate that, and I thought that might be the case. And I think you carry a heart that is slow to turn to violence, and that is an honorable thing to possess. But Mr. Osrius, I think it's not going to serve you here. She says, it may not be my place to tell you how to be, but if we're going to do this, I want to know that everyone involved is in with both feet. So I want to tell you a few things. Fascist regimes are very good at a few particular things. They are very good at building institutions of power that are nigh impossible for the oppressed to break out of. And they are doubly good at convincing a lot of otherwise innocent people to be the jailers of their own incarceration. No puppet of a fascist dictatorship thinks he's the bad guy. The Ignians have a particular knack for belittling any act of aggression or violence or disobedience as barbarism or savagery. They simply love to take the moral high ground and point out the evil of those who would act against them while painting themselves as noble paragons of civility and the right way. These people were fighting. Their whole playbook is to pretend that they're doing what they're doing for the greater good, and that anyone who would fight them is the real monster. I see the conflict in you. I know the signs. It sounds so reasonable when they accuse you of unwarranted, brutal violence against them. She sort of shakes her head. She says, and they're soldiers. Not all, but enough of them, the elite ones anyway. They've broken their minds, programmed them that with such conviction of the rightness of the Empire that they will sneer in your face and help you drag the knife across their throat rather than surrender, convinced that they have the moral high ground as the life drains out of them. It makes them dangerous to fight, and it makes them even more dangerous to talk to, especially if you have that empathetic heart that I suspect you do.
Audrius kind of takes a look out to the water and then like look back like to where we were walking, and he kind of says, "Well, none of this has been easy. Sure is just as for me as anybody else, friends and anybody in the war involved at this point, but I think more than anything it's just I want to make it to a place where I call home again. There's a lot of other people that want that as well."
She says, I see the wisdom in that, and perhaps I'm overstepping my bounds, but I don't want you dashed against their manipulations in your pursuit of that. Trust me, Mr. Osrius. Some of these people, they take them from their families, or the families give them willingly to the Empire for this training, like it's an honor of the highest order. Some resist. Most of those don't survive. Every once in a while, some poor child manages to escape, and they have to run to the end of the world to find a new family. But the ones that don't escape, the ones like the people on this island, you should know what kind of people you're truly dealing with, lest the doubts of a compassionate man threaten to crumble your resolve and keep you from finding that home that you seek. And she stops walking, and she gestures ahead of you, and in the sinking sun you realize that she has walked you around the island, and you are now at the foot of the rocky outcropping upon which the old fort sits. And in an overhang from the fort, dangling out above the lapping waves, you see a row of hanged corpses. This is what their civility looks like. She points to a hanged man. This is their justice, their rule of law. She points to a woman. And this is their compassion. And she points to the corpse of a boy who can be no more than 12. And she says, "It is a good man who is loath to revel in violence and tries to walk the peaceful path. They will try to turn that on you. I can see it in your eyes that it's already been eating at you. Don't let them." She points to the corpses. "That's what you're fighting."
Osrius takes a deep breath that's kind of shuddered while still looking at the bodies. And it's like never gets easier. It's harder. And starts shaking his head, and she's like, "What I have to do?"
She nods and she says, "Well, then I better make my own preparations. And tonight, we'll free this island." And she kind of, walks away to leave you to, your own musings and wanderings or whatever may have you. And unless there is anything any of you guys particularly want to do on Glassau, Fools Errant guys, before we hit like the sunset roundup time, we'll carry on.
Nothing that's not a war crime.
Okay.
No, the person that Alar would probably want to speak to is he's on the Grimm's Folly, so that can wait for later if it comes up.
Sure. Alrighty. Then sunset comes. Rowan and Una depart, heading for a small hidden cove where they will take a rowboat to the Grimm's Folly. You guys have the instructions to, as you undertake your portion, essentially the signal is when, like, the commotion in the harbor begins. That is your guys' signal for your attack. To get all of your stuff situated, Una... Go ahead.
Sorry, there was one thing I wanted to do that I just remembered from 3 weeks ago now.
Oh, okay.
Walter wanted to go try and get some of those fun explosive backup barrels from one of the the ones we used to blow up the last Moxum container.
We used fertilizer.
It was fertilizer.
It was fertilizer.
And that warehouse is mega burned down.
not from that specific warehouse,
okay.
but like he's gonna pop over and like see if there was any kind of like shenaniganery I can steal from another warehouse.
Roll a d20.
Roll a d20.
10 or above.
10 or above. Shenanigans. 10 or 9 or below.
No shenanigans.
No shenanigans. I got a 6.
Okay. So you quickly, as you guys are preparing, you kind of quickly bip a couple of portals open, trying to you kind of hop into a few locations of storehouses or depots that you know of, looking for can I get my hands on something explosive quickly? But you're unable to locate something, and you kind of run out of time. You're like, shit. That being said,
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I just picture Walter coming back from the last one. Who in their right mind gathers 200,000 tacks?
You return to meet up with the group. Una gave you guys instructions. The place that you are to meet to load into your Trojan horse, your Mithlindian horse, your secret wagon, and to meet up with the other island-bound members of her resistance to distribute the arms that they have stashed, is Mabel's Bordello. So you guys head to the pre-described location. You knock on the door, and a slat in it opens, and one eye kind of looks out, and from inside the door you hear, "Password."
I presume we were given the password.
You were not given any password.
Una sent us.
You get eyed for a minute. And
Sandwiches.
Chowder.
The password is sandwiches.
It's clam chowder, but the blue kind.
They're
you
ready to pass
you
through
guys
the
rattle off all these. You guys rattle off all these.
Immediately.
Swordfish.
So you guys rattle off
Swordfish.
Una Senta, swordfish, clam chowder, and sandwiches. And she goes, Oh, I'm just fooling with you, honey. There's no password. You're the only people on this island that we don't know already. Of course, you're Una's people. Come on. Just close it. She opens the door, and a sort of like rail thin. Imagine, I don't know how I described her before, but now in my head she kind of looks like Yzma from the Emperor's New Groove.
Walter has a flashback to the old lady outside of his town and just like gets in a defensive posture. His fists go up he doesn't punch people, his fists go up. It doesn't make sense.
You raise your fist and she goes, no. This is not that kind of encounter. You have to pay extra for that sort of thing.
What? Get it on my mustache.
Ew, ugh, gross. That was even too gross for me. She says, all right, come in before anybody sees you standing out there. And you enter, I assume.
Oh yeah.
You enter into a kind of a dimly lit sort of tap room. There's a lot of like comfortable looking chairs and like tapestries hung from walls and things like that. There's a handful of other men and women in the chamber here. As you guys enter, one of them moves forward and like throws a heavy bar into the door, and the woman who greeted you, she says, "Okay, so I hear it's time to cause a little bit of mischief tonight."
Yep. How are you at the Novirian horse trick?
She says, "Oh my, what do you?" Oh,
Well,
no, okay, I know. Sorry, I was
Hey,
for sure thinking about a different thing than what you were talking about.
No,
Neil.
Alar just smiles, both because he recognizes it and hates himself for recognizing it.
She looks at you and says, "But that does pique my curiosity. Are you in fact able to put both of your feet behind your head? Because that's very impressive."
Brom leans over to Oz and just goes, "I would like to leave."
Oh, no. Hear out.
She goes, "There will be plenty of time for fun later. Now it's business." And then she looks at let's see, who does she look at? I guess Alar, because Alar is instigated her now. She goes, "Although the two are not mutually exclusive as far as I'm concerned." She like elbows in. It's very pointy, the elbow that she elbows you with.
Walter muses out loud. If I shut off one of the portals over my own neck, will it permanently cut my head off? Like,
Yes.
And she says, okay, enough fooling around. I'm Rutabaga, and she kind of introduces a group of people around the room. She says, "This is Kep. Here is Lundo." She like goes around the room. And she goes, "Where is there you are, Braxton." And she points out a balding man in the back. She goes, "Braxton is the general store owner. He's got his wagon out back. We'll load you up with some weapons. The rest of us will take what you don't need, and we will we'll make for the mansion."
I don't know whether I'm relieved or disappointed that the rest of their names weren't fruits or vegetables.
She said, "Well, these people are not. They are not employed here at this establishment. They're just townspeople who we're going to give pitchforks and stuff to."
Only weapon I would request is you have a hand crossbow and some bolts.
She says, "Yeah, I think we can scrape something together." That's not why did I develop an accent all of a sudden? She says, "Okay, honeys, let's get going."
Oh, now he's the green.
And now I'm the Green Goblin. Norman's on sabbatical, honey.
Rutabaga's on sabbatical, honey. Oh no, it's her alter ego, Petunia.
It's her alter ego, Rhubarb.
Yeah, Rhubarb.
Oh God, help us all.
So a hatch to the cellar is opened up, and a bunch of like mismatched weapons are passed up and distributed among the people in the room. Rutabaga says to you guys, just, okay, it's your rodeo, so you can determine where you want everybody to go. You want all of the bunch of you in the wagon, and the rest of us to set up the ambush? Do you want some folks in with you? Do you want how do you want to distribute anybody? You're the playmakers here.
Do you want to do a surprise mob?
She goes, again, I don't think that means what you think it means in my line of work. So you are going to have to clarify, dear.
Walter's going to open a portal real quick to like somewhere safe that's not here, and be like, we could just have everybody enter somewhere stupid. It'd be really fun.
She looks at that and she's like, why are we doing this whole wagon thing if you can just open like a hole into wherever?
It only works.
Style.
Why does anybody do anything? Move past it.
The only response is style.
It only works places he's been. We've never been to the mansion.
Oh. I, Rutabaga, don't know that, but that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, we've absolutely been. I've definitely kidnapped somebody from the mansion.
Yes, I know that that's not right, but it's the reason why we're not, charging in there that way.
Character.
Unless you
for
want
the
to
sake of
attempt
game,
to-
Says the
I
NPC
don't-
voiced by the DM who came up with the goddamn plan with another NPC.
No, literally, wasn't it like out of character, out of game? Wasn't it the whole point just so that like you get them all out of the house to bring the supplies in, and then you attack them outside of the manor house so that we can get into the manor house?
Yes.
Isn't that the whole point?
Yes.
So stop fucking with the plan, Jason, with your
All
fancy
right. Look,
portal.
I'm sorry. Some of us
Love you.
got confused.
He's like, I just want to use a portal, okay? I just want to use a portal.
Well, I mean, listen, you guys, listen. I'm not going to step in here, but like,
I'm not here.
I'm a passive observer, but like, you guys absolutely had free reign to be like, yeah, we don't need to do that plan. We have a portal gun. Like, feel free when I come. You have to understand that I operate out of the flawed perspective of the NPCs that I've been inhabiting. If my plan doesn't make sense, you don't have to go along with it.
Now that I think about it, Walter, we could use that to place fighters at various points. Rutabaga, what places were you planning on attacking?
She pulls out a map of the island, and she says, well, the estate house is here, and the harbor is here, where Una and the others are gonna go attack those ships. And really, the only way to get from the estate down to the harbor is to take this path here. And she kind of outlines like the path. I can't put up a map on stream because I have Jason in that window. So theater of the mind. Essentially, the estate is on like a high point on the island, and then there is like a path that sort of curves. Nope, not that map. Curves down and around to like the lower part of the island where the main town is, and like out to the harbor. So she essentially sort of points out like when the harbor is attacked, and we hopefully draw them all out and send them running towards their ships. They're going to have no choice but to come through here. So I was going to post up in the jungle off the sides of the path here, so that you can jump out of the wagon and we can come out of the path, and we'll catch them as they're straggling down the path towards the ships.
Got
All right.
Walter, do you think you can drop them, drop a portal to get them there without anybody noticing?
I'm gonna try to open a portal to that vague area and see what happens. See what it looks like.
Roll d20.
If there's a naked Invarian taking a shit in the middle of the woods, I'm gonna cry.
Can I use a help action?
That is a 9.
A 9. I don't know that
Never
there's any
mind.
way for Oz to help with this particular thing. You,
I don't know.
You open.
So can I try to
Can I move his
mind
hands
meld with
faster?
Rutabaga, as regrettable as that
Can
but
you,
is?
What did you say? Can you what?
Can I try to mind meld with Rutabaga to like have her like imagine the place
You
like I
don't.
did with Rowan?
Do you have
Yeah,
an ability
we don't
that
wanna
lets
do
you
that.
mind meld with somebody
Oh,
somehow?
well, I don't know. However, I did it with Rowan.
He's got a magical item called the Rock of Spock.
Rowan gave you
Mine
coordinates. Rowan gave you map
Oh,
coordinates.
Rowan gave me like map coordinates. Okay, so like I kind of like had it.
So what I was gonna say with that 9, you open a portal, right? But what happens is like you sort of open a portal and a tree branch, like jabs you in the head as it like you open a portal like right by a tree and you get like whoa, like,
Oh,
knocked.
nope.
So you definitely like kind of know like okay, well I was able to open a portal sort of in the vicinity in the jungle there, but like dropping one blind has a chance of being like in something or like
Right.
obstructed. So it's not necessarily a matter of like being able to do it. You definitely think you can do it. It's a matter of the like however you're trying to handle this. If you
Right.
Oh.
you can take. I won't make you roll beyond that. If you take a bunch of if you want to take some time here to try and like keep slightly adjusting the portal till you get like an open exit
No.
to move people from here, but like on the fly, that's going to be a hard thing to do to drop a portal in the jungle.
I think Walter's going to try to open one above where it is to kind of get a better view and thought of like.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Now
This
you're
seems
thinking
kind
with
of
portals.
perfect. This seems kind of perfect because I feel like if it's in cover, if it's in somewhere, kind of like covered wise, like isn't that a good thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
Walter's
mean,
gonna he's gonna like tear open like 1 or 2 holes in the vicinity, like maybe like one quick hole in the vicinity to like get an idea of like what the tree line's like before trying to like open 1 or 2 more. Portals.
yeah. So I think that's smart, right? Like if you open a portal slightly above, you're able to like get a little bit of a scope where like okay, you can kind of figure out where you can open one to like let people be able to pass through it, be undercover like in the jungle, but like not accidentally open a portal with like half a tree coming through it automatically that like blocks you. So that's I think that makes sense, right? Like you are able then to figure out how to put a portal in the jungle off this path where like you can just have everybody go out, if you want to.
Braxton, you're going to be. Wait, are you going to be with us? Are you going to be running the wagon, or is it just us?
I have to bring the wagon.
All right. Walter, your first move: get him out of the danger zone. Once we start fighting.
What if we make them think that the wagon is the way we're getting in? And make them look at it.
The old reverse Smithlundian horse, which again, I'm using the layman's version of that term, which is much more pedestrian than the term that I am familiar with, which involves an actual horse.
Walter like quietly like leans into like Rutabaga and is like, "Can you give me like a booklet or something? It's been a very long while since I've seen my wife." Constitution save. Make Constitution save.
Make a wisdom make an insight check.
I'm not proficient with insight, so this is probably gonna be terrible. 10, solid 10.
A 10. You are caught off guard when she then goes like, "Oh no, honey. The things that I could teach you aren't written down in any book. But if you want, I could send you back to your wife a changed man."
Despite my appearance, I am still very faithful. I appreciate your offer.
Okay.
just like a slight bow. It's like, I appreciate it. Thank you.
She goes, Braxton goes like, anyway, what was your idea? You want to send the empty wagon and then do what?
I think we should be on the wagon to get to where we want to go, but make us to be honest, I don't know how it would work. I apologize. Apart from like running an actual pirate flag on the top of the wagon, just to like, yeah.
Put a sign on it that says definitely not a trap.
Maybe a little horse head.
We've got a couple of sets of Ignian armor. I speak the language naturally.
Why don't we go in the wagon, jump out in front of everyone, then jump back into the wagon, and then go through the portal, so they're focused on the wagon and focusing on that? Or is that insane? Too convoluted?
Rutabaga goes, honestly, I'm getting the sense the longer I share this room with you that you guys, your sort of wheelhouse operates the best when if we just stop talking about it and just kind of go and then figure it out when it happens.
Yeah, no, we've got a pretty straightforward plan.
I'm here to serve.
Yes.
You want to join me in disguise, or are you going to skip the bullshit?
I don't think I've ever skipped bullshit in my life.
All right.
I'm going to disguise self as the last emperor of the Invarian Empire.
I'm gonna slap Walter upside the head.
All right.
Alar will pull out 2 sets of Ignian armor.
No, I can still. I still got the.
He's got the glamour.
I can put the mask on, and I can be that dude from 6 months ago.
That's why I asked you specifically. So Alar puts it on, and tries to rig it so he can get it off very quickly, since he's not proficient in heavy armor.
Sure.
Alar velcros up the armor.
More or less. Yeah, there's a lot of annoying tearing sounds and repositioning. No.
Is it just a disadvantage?
He can't cast spells.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For
reasons unknown.
Depending on, well, we'll get to that if it comes to that. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, are all of you guys going in this wagon? That's the current plan. Okay.
Yes, apparently.
All right. So you guys go in the wagon. Braxton is going to lead the wagon, and then Rutabaga and the other rebels are going to. Are you teleporting them into the woods? Is that your plan there?
If it's easier, sure. Secret invasion.
Sure.
Hashtag not trademarked. It's just 2 words put together.
There you go. You like open a portal. They kind of like takes a little bit of like. Once the first person kind of musters the courage to walk through this, like, portal that you've created.
Walter would literally walk back and forth through the portal a couple times.
Once the first couple of people go through, they all get like, okay, I guess it's fine, and they pass through. So your group of fighters, led by Rutabaga, have positioned themselves up in the woods between the estate and the harbor. You guys kind of pile in. And you make your way up the hill. As you guys approach the manor, let's take a quick detour to our other group for a while, because they haven't gotten too much yet. Rowan and Thysis and Murderbeard and Una, you guys are on the captured captured vessel. What did you tied up everybody that you didn't kill, right, and put them in the brig? If I remember correctly. Okay, so you got a brig full of tied up Ignians, and the 4 of you are like in control of the ship. You have just shot off a flare to like alert the Grimm's Folly that it is time to go. And you, after a couple of minutes, all of their deck lamps are still off, but you like begin to see like the like shape of like darker black against the black of the sky and the sea of like the Grimm's Folly moving towards the harbor. I guess I will, like, you guys can tell me what you want the Grimm's Folly to do, even though your characters are technically on this. Like, what's the play here, right? You got 2 ships in the harbor. The Grimm's Folly is like coming in. You are now on this ship, in control of it. Like, set the scene.
I just want to double check, make sure I remember. We got one ship that was sailing
the one that
out,
was like further out,
and then there's one
like
further
sideways. You hijacked that one. Then there are like 2 ships that are like docked.
Docked. Okay. I don't know what we want the Grimm's Folly to do, but as my job as the note taker, like, just wanted the reminder to use his spell on one of the ships. So I've done my job now.
So you guys, do you want the Grimm's Folly to like sail up to you so you can talk to them, or have you like given them the signal to like start the attack? Like, what do you want them doing?
I look at Captain.
Captain, I think we need to get one of those ships going under first before we launch everything.
I would agree. Do you want to go with your plan?
I gotta get
Since
close.
you seemed all
I gotta get
sure
close.
that you can take one down.
Are we gonna raise suspicion by bringing this vessel closer in? Is that gonna be something is gonna alert the Ignians in the harbor?
Probably. We probably want to go in
Let's
independently, like we did for this one.
let's turn down these deck lamps. Make them think something's wrong and that we're coming back in.
Una says, if that's what you want to do, she says, she like goes over to the like a deck box near the mast, and she I think this one's like quarantine. This is the only one I remember. She pulls out like a yellow flag, and she's like, we can start sailing in, and we can hoist this to alert them that we've got a problem. She says that should keep them confused at least long enough to get close enough for Mr. Thykes to do whatever it is he's going to do.
That's a good idea. So at least they'll be, they'll see something happening, but they won't be suspicious
They
about
won't
it.
assume it's hostile. They'll assume it's something wrong with.
She says the fact that we're on their ship in the harbor should buy us at least enough cover for them not to act against us until we do something hostile and they realize that the ship's no longer under their control. They might be confused and suspicious when we start moving towards them, but I don't think they're going to start shooting at us.
Rowan will pull out one of the sending scrolls that she's just been getting en masse from Terra Libra and pass it to Captain and just say, do you want to let Apora know that once...
I'm being stupid. You guys for sure already have that covered, right? Like, we've established that the Grimm's Folly has sending stones. She like takes it out. She's like, oh yeah, we can totally talk to them. Like,
we could just let them know that once we send up the flag and then they see one of the ships start to sink, then we converge and fire on the other. And that's the signal to start firing for them to get closer. Like, let us start the attack and then them come and back us up. I think that works.
And possibly Una could stay aboard this vessel and... I don't know, maybe... kind of just goes just so that she can see everything from here.
If we're quick enough, I don't think this will take very long.
She says, "Oh, hang on, you're taking the rowboat in?"
No.
I need to get close.
How close, Thixus?
Precisely 60 feet.
Una, does the rowboat make sense with the quarantine flag, or?
She's like, I'll be honest, I thought we were talking about putting the quarantine flag on this ship and sailing into the harbor, but
No,
we
if you want to take the rowboat, you probably just try and sneak up on them.
Thixus, what do you want to do?
let's go with the quarantine flag.
I
Let's
think
go
that's
for it.
safer for us to not be in the crossfire of cannonballs and things while we're in a rowboat.
Yeah, well, I think either way we're gonna be in the crossfire of.
She says what I would consider is weigh the options of sneaking up on the rowboat and trying to sink one of these ships with your magic and taking it out of the fight versus the utilizing both of these ships to try and sink them. I think both seem like solid plans, but if the three of you sail off on the rowboat, she like gestures, is like, this ship is out of commission. I can't do anything with it by myself on here.
Well, and even with just us four, I mean, how much are we going to be able to do? I mean, we can't fire all the cannons.
She says, no, we'll certainly be at a somewhat of a disadvantage, but the four of us could, we can sail it in there and turn it broadside and take a few shots, but she says, whatever you think is best.
I think perhaps if we sail in a bit and wait for signs of confusion from them, and then we raise the quarantine flag, hopefully we can get close enough or close-ish to 60 feet. Push our luck a little bit there. With any luck, they'll just think the people on this ship are in a panic about what's happening on here. And then the Grimm's Folly can come in behind. And Thixus, if we're close enough within 60 feet, you can try your spell, and if not, the four of us can take as many shots as we can on this, and if they start firing back on this ship, we still have the Grimm's Folly.
Whatever it is you're planning to do, Mr. Thixus, can you do it more than once?
No.
Oh, all right. Well, then
And
we're gonna have to
I
put put holes in the other ship the old-fashioned way. Then
Yes, definitely. Yeah, and I would suggest. Now, this is just a suggestion, but I would suggest that everyone stay very, very far away from me. I can't guarantee everyone's safety.
well, that poses a certain level of complication to this whole process.
Rowan's gonna walk over to Thixus and just put a hand on his shoulder.
Styxus smiles and looks at Rowan's, just like old times.
You'd never hurt me on purpose. We'll be okay.
You feel a hand goes on your shoulder, Rowan, on the opposite side, and you look at Una is standing there, and she goes, I don't think it's hurting you on purpose that he's concerned about, Rowan.
Una, I don't think I told you guys that, like... I think I'll be okay. It's the short answer. I can take a lot more hits than I used to be able to.
Fair enough. All right.
And Thyxus, you feel a hand on your elbow because Murderbeard can't exactly reach his shoulder, and you hear, if you hurt her accidentally or not, it's gonna be bad for you.
I know, Captain. I know.
Have you seen that?
I'm not gonna save you. I'm gonna
Have you seen that
happen.
meme? Have you seen that meme where like the guy is like squatting in the gym, and then like another guy goes up and like spots him, and then a guy goes behind that guy and spots that guy, and then there's like 12 guys. It's like that. You're just like.
Yeah.
I want to know if Captain is telling Thyxus, if you hurt her, who is the her? Is it Rowan? Is it Una? Is it both? Does it not matter? Who is Captain threatening Thyxus over?
The all of the above.
All of the above.
It's more the second part of like, if you do, I can't help you was more about Una because like Rowan is much more forgiving. Una is not.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
She's like, all right, I've completely lost it in the weeds now. What are we doing?
Move the ship closer.
the ship
When we
closer.
see action in there, then we raise the quarantine flag. Hopefully there's just confusion. We can drift a little closer, hopefully within 60 feet. We all get the heck back as far as we can on this ship, away from Thyxus. Let him do his thing.
Do I need to go to the? Do you think I need to go to the bow and put on my disguise again?
Might be the best bet, yeah.
Might
Maybe
buy
don't
us.
shout this time.
It might
Oh,
buy
yeah.
us. It might buy us a few more seconds if they see someone that looks like an Ignian on the vessel once it gets within visual, instead of the lot of us chuckle fucks.
All right, I will go ahead and do a couple of things then.
Okay.
I will. I realized that I neglected to cast Mage Armor on myself,
Sure.
so I'm going to go ahead and do that first. And I am also going to cast Disguise Self and
Okay.
change myself into that Ignian that we launched out of the cannon again.
Okay.
So I'm going to make 2 Wild Magic rolls. Pretty quickly. Okay.
All we need is wild magic to
Yeah, till I ruin
I'm
this
assuming
whole
Captain
thing right
at
off
the
the bat.
helm and
Oh, we're
sailing
good.
up closer.
Good. Okay.
We're safe on those.
Alrighty. Then Una will go and like start to raise the anchor, and
I'll have, I guess, Captain can steer, and I will be ready to raise the quarantine flag.
okay. And between Una and she, before you like take your position, she kind of like uses her as her assistant. Like between Una and Thyxus, they like let out enough sail to begin to move the ship, and you guys start like sailing in. As Thyxus takes his position and Rowan is in her position and Murderbeard is steering, Una begins to she calls back to Murderbeard, and she goes, Are you gonna sail in straight between him, or are you gonna try and turn it when we get close enough? She like gestures. She's like, port or starboard or both. What cannons do you want me to load?
I'll try and turn it.
Okay. So presumably, you and Una both know what port and starboard means, so you pick one of those, and that's the side that you load the cannons on. We'll say you load the starboard cannons. So she'll busy herself with that as you guys sail in. Okay, you begin sailing towards the Ignian ship. What have you instructed the Grimm's Folly that they should be doing in this?
I assume they don't need to be doing anything, correct?
They don't need to be doing anything yet, but like what like they they want to know what, like, when the time comes, what should they be doing and where do they need to position themselves to be ready to do it? Like,
I guess follow in, and when they see the flag go up and presumably just stuff kick off.
Perhaps alarm
Get in-
bells from the ships.
Yeah, get in the rest of the way.
So
and
essentially get close but stay hidden until the fireworks start, and then
come in and sweep up with us.
Okay. And you guys presumably pick one of the two ships.
Yeah, we don't give a crap about the ship we're standing on.
So you pick one of the two ships that is going to be Thykes' target. Una will then direct the Grimm's Folly. That's the one that they're gonna go light up. All right, so you start moving in. After a few minutes, you cross maybe half the distance. You begin to notice movement on the decks of the two ships that indicates to you that they have taken note that for some reason the third vessel is has raised anchor and is moving towards port. So you see movement on the deck. You see some the shutters are open and closed, and some of the lanterns signaling to you guys a sort of a questioning signal of what is your status type of deal. And Thykes, at this point, you can
I rush up the
people?
captain real quick?
Yeah,
can I
sure.
rush up the captain? Can you do me a big favor? Could you tell the Grimm's Folly to fire at the lights when they see the lights?
You got it.
Got it. And then I rush back to my spot.
Okay, so Thykes, you can make out guys on the decks of these ships. It's far enough away that you can't really make out specific details, but you can definitely see them. They can sort of see you. I'm not gonna make them worry about seeing through your illusion as they're too far away at this point. You just look like an Ignian sailor. Are you doing anything as you guys get within visual range?
I probably am holding in my hand the locket that Captain gave me, and I'm kind of just opening it and closing it.
Okay.
Closing it, opening and closing it as we get closer.
Okay, so you're standing there. You see them they're you see waving. You see people cupped hands, and you can just sort of make out the calls of what is going on? What is the problem? Rowan, are you raising your emergency flag? What's that?
Are we close enough? How close are we?
You're getting close. You're probably boy, distances are gonna get real fuzzy here. You've closed about half the distance. You're probably 300 or 400 feet away still, but as you guys begin to pick up speed, you're probably only 30 seconds from getting, eventually coming up online with them. You also will have to contend. Well, Murderbeard's going to try and turn the ship, right? So you're not going to have to worry about sailing in directly grounding the ship if Murderbeard's going to turn.
As soon as Una or anyone tells me get the flag up to hold them from assuming the worst of us, I will do it. But Rowan's just waiting for a sign at this point because she can't. I'm assuming I'm at the center mast, so I can't tell from
Okay. I think Una will be well, they've definitely spotted us. You might want to throw that flag up and buy us a little time.
It goes.
Left for port. It has 4 letters. That's fun. Left is port, right is starboard, which is what I thought it was. So I was right. Thanks, chat. Okay, you raise the flag. Let's have all 3 of you guys, make a collective deception check with advantage because this is a pretty effective deception you guys are putting on.
29.
Whew.
22.
Only a 13.
Okay. Plenty good enough. Okay, so they don't do anything. They are still, as far as they can tell, you are still their companion vessel, and something is wrong when you're coming in. You see, as the emergency flag goes up, you see the activity on the decks of the ships kind of begins to change, such that where before it was like a lot of people were like milling around and looking and calling out. Once the like flag goes up that you guys are indicating that you are in some kind of a crisis, you see people on the decks of the other ships begin to move to like prepare as if that they need to assist you guys in some way. And I think you guys get close enough that like Thixis, the people on the other vessel now can definitely like see you, and they are like looking at you and being like, "What is happening?"
I try to just like mumble a bunch of stuff like I'm just like flailing my arms around, not really making any words, but trying to mimic their language.
So you like do a bunch of crazy hand gestures and look like, "Oh, it's an emergency," and that confuses everybody. And Murderbeard, you get within range, where you're like, all right, we're getting close here. Like, I need to like hard to port to turn and broadside the starboard side of the vessel, as we get here, and you kind of like make a vehicle handling check, which is your D20 plus your proficiency in vehicles, to see how well you time the.
Where's the proficiency in vehicles?
It's part of your sailor background. I think it gives you proficiency. It just means roll a D20 plus your proficiency, basically.
Okay. Not great.
Uh-oh.
I rolled a 3, and I have a +4. So, not. You know what? Murderbeard's gonna use his inspiration. We're gonna do that again. I'm gonna roll real dice.
I'm definitely. My vehicle handling rules were definitely not correct. It probably means like there's probably another modifier you should have added to that, but we've never used it before in 6 years or whatever.
I'm gonna roll a real die instead of bullshit fake dice on D&D Beyond. God damn it, that's only an 8 plus 4.
So the 12. You know that like the ship, you've got to get Thixis within 60 feet of this other vessel. So you try and hold it to like the last
there it
second.
is, 60 feet.
you cut the you're like God, you cut the wheel. But yes, that is essentially what happens. Like, the ship does not maneuver as fast as you like thought it was going to. So you don't get the ship fully turned. So essentially what happens is like Thixis, not only do you get
boy, Captain's getting me a little bit closer. Oh boy, Captain's getting me a little bit closer.
You're good.
The front of your ship starts going like
A little too close, Captain.
A bunch of Ignians like dive back away from the railing. You guys are like, ugh! Like wood like flies everywhere as the two ships. But Thixis, you are for sure. You're like 10 feet from a bunch of Ignians on the other ship.
Before I do this, did that ship just do enough damage to that ship to start sinking it? So I can
no,
turn
probably
my
not. You're
attention
going
to the other
pretty.
one? Okay.
You're going pretty slow.
All cosmetic.
It's all cosmetic damage. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So Thixis will immediately just kind of pull the orb out of his pocket, and you see his eyes grow green, and the vortex of green energy will come from his like eyes down his arm, shoot out the orb, and I'm casting Disintegrate.
Dang.
Just an inch away from where the boat is in the water.
Okay.
And it will do a 10-foot diameter hole in the wall.
Okay.
Of the vessel.
Here's where we have to figure out.
And if you want me to roll for it, I'm going to use my Tides of Chaos to give myself advantage on the roll.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Somewhere off screen, Walter is doing a double thumbs up.
Somewhere off screen, Alar is watching this with a spyglass that he grabbed at Una's place. Is going, what the? And he's holding it out for Osrius to look at.
So,
somewhere on the screen, Osrius is going little.
Here's what I think. We're gonna do.
I will also do this. I will spend 2 of my sorcery points to quicken the spell to make it a bonus action.
Okay, cool.
Jesus.
All right. So here's how I think
So-
we're gonna handle this. So your Tides of Chaos, if you still want to use it, you can. You don't strictly need to give yourself advantage, right? Because you're targeting an object. So like,
Yeah, it's an object, but the spell does. I mean, it is like a 2-hit roll, so it's really up to you what you.
It is
think.
very much like hitting the broadside of a barn.
Yeah, that's a different way. So it's up to you.
It does
Disintegrate's
take
a
away
dex
the
save, isn't it?
possibility of rolling a
Disintegrate
one.
is a
Well,
dex. No, see, Disintegrate's a dex save
Oh, is it
on
a
the
dex
target.
save? I thought it was
You don't
a-
have to roll
okay.
anything. You can just
It's
hit
the
the
shit
boat.
that we pinned.
Got it.
You
So-
can hit
go
the
for
broadside
it.
of a barn.
You can hit the
Got it,
broadside
yeah.
of the barn. So what I will say is, if you want to use Tides of Chaos,
Okay.
you can still do
I-
that for the added
I will
potential for
save
chaos.
it.
And I will say what
save
it
it.
would do is
Yeah.
make the hole bigger. If you want to
I-
invoke the chaos of Tides of Chaos, you totally can, and we'll give it that effect. But otherwise,
You know what?
you
Hey.
don't have to do that. You'll hit the boat.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think a 10-foot hole will be big enough to do
Okay.
what I want to do.
Shockingly,
I'm pretty sure.
you cannot miss the broad. Like you almost point blank the other boat because you're so close that you just go like. You hit it.
Disintegrate is a touch spell now.
A bunch of sawdust like hits you in the face as the hole in the boat blows open, and immediately like you hear the like of water begin to rush into this other ship. Is there a phase 2 of this plan that you were about to do?
Yes, I am going. Since I used a bonus action to do that, I can cast a cantrip as
Okay.
an action. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast Dancing Lights above the other boat so that the Grimm's Folly can easily see their target.
Okay. So you disintegrate and then you fire off these luminous magical flares into the air, and about 3 seconds later, from somewhere off the aft of the ship, you hear the telltale sign of and the incoming and crash as 3 cannonballs impact the other vessel. And
And I got to be honest, Matt. I rolled a wild magic.
okay, go ahead and give me that wild magic table roll.
All right, let's see a D100. There it is. Roll. A 40.
40. Have you taken any
You want me to-
damage? Are you injured at all?
I didn't. Do you want me to re-roll?
No.
Yeah, I haven't taken any damage.
Nothing happens. You don't feel anything
All right.
happen. You're like,
Okay, gotcha.
you sort of feel the surge go off, and you're like, oh. Oh, I don't think
Just
anything
waiting
happened.
for something bad to happen.
Yeah, you're like, nothing seems to happen. Very good. Okay. Then with that, let's shift back. You guys are in the back of a carriage, bumbling and bumping its way up to the estate. After a few minutes of riding, Braxton like mutters into the back. He goes, "We're pulling up on the building now. Get ready."
Alar is going to pick up a empty box. He is clad in Ignian.
Oh, so you're like out. You're visible. Is the plan here? You and Brahm?
Yeah, to
Oh, okay.
help draw them, draw them out. Like, we have supplies. We need help.
Okay.
Let's do this quickly.
You do that, and like you see there's like 2 Ignians posted at the door, as they see you come up. You like grab your crate. You guys make yourselves known. The 2 of them point to Braxton and go like, "Halt! Stop right there!" And they step out and they have like hands on swords, and they look Brahm and Alar. They're like looking at the 2 of you, and the one of them in the lead goes like, "Who are you? I do not know you."
Who are we? Who are you?
No, what do you mean, who am I?
Look, this is not a game of who the fuck are you, okay? I am on important business.
I am on important business. I'm guarding
How convenient!
We have been on this island for months. I know everybody who is here. I do not know either of your faces. Who are you?
Were we given like any names of soldiers by Una by chance, or Rutabaga?
I don't think that came up.
Do we know how long those ships have been in port?
Yeah, they've been here for like a handful of months now.
So they're guarding the outside front of that.
They're like at the front door.
They're outside of the house at the front door. Okay.
Yeah, they've like stepped off the front porch now, basically, and approached the wagon.
Do we know roughly how many people are supposed to be inside the building?
She told you she thinks there's probably about 20 in there.
Gotcha.
Give or
probably
take.
Do not recognize me because I usually wear a helmet.
Make a deception check.
Okay, deception. That's the plus 11 one. Natural 20. Make you 31. Of all, I never roll natural 20s when like it matters. It's always on the dumbest shit possible.
I mean, this actually matters. So
Okay, so he goes, fair enough. There was certainly that one guy who I have never seen without his helmet in the 6 months that we have been here. I suppose I can tolerate that, but that does not answer the other question. He turns to you, Aylar, and he goes, who the fuck are you? And don't tell me, because I know there's not two guys that have always worn the helmet around here.
And no, he is my brother.
yeah, different mothers.
I should know better than to try to drink when fucking Russell is talking. I
Doing a
really
stupid accent?
should.
Who's in the thing with us right now?
Just you
It's
and
just you and
Oz
Oz.
and Braxton.
Braxton is like driving it.
Oz, you want to commit unspeakable violence from behind these guys?
Oz just nods quietly.
I'm gonna like peek out a little bit without like exposing myself, and I'm gonna open because they stepped off the patio, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna open a portal directly behind them
Okay.
in here.
Make
So like it's looking at like the back of them.
Okay, the two of you make a stealth check.
Okay.
Can I use the help action because Brahm will be like, he'll see a portal open up and he'll be like, we don't have enough time for that. Like he's
Yeah,
gonna like,
okay. Yeah, make your checks with advantage.
You want it
Okay.
or not? I'll
Yeah.
put it back on the fucking part.
That's an 18.
Okay.
I'm
That
just
is
gonna do a
17.
job, man.
Yes, you're like yelling and gesturing, and they're yelling and gesturing back at you, and then you guys see the two of them like over their shoulders. You see a perfectly round opening, and you just see Walter and Osrius like, sitting in the wagon. All right, they don't know you're there.
Right.
Wait a minute. I feel like the best thing here to quietly do this is to just grab them through the portal, beat the shit out of them, then close the portal.
Well, like grab them through the portal and bring them into the thing, and then throw them into the jail cell portal. We already know we're gonna.
So
Fair.
when Brahm sees that they're ready, Brahm's gonna go, wait. Do you smell that? And
Make a.
So I'm gonna let Oz grab them through the portal, and as soon as he grabs them,
Absolutely.
if he gets one or both, I don't care. As soon as he's able to like yoink one or both of them, I'm going to close it and immediately like use my action to like open
Okay.
a new portal to the jail cell,
So-
just so he
The
can
volcano.
yoink them.
What is the punchline to the joke that you're making, Russell?
nothing. It was just, do you smell that? And then they're gonna get yoinked.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were gonna say what the rock is cooking.
Then I might say something. Depending on how successful Osrius is, I might say something after.
Be
Well,
like,
I
I thought it was gonna be like, do you smell that? It smells like and then they would go, what? And then they would go,
Oh, that was better. That was better. I should have done that.
Grab him by the throat.
okay, Osrius, make an attack roll to grab both of these guys.
Okay.
I say you have two attacks, right? So you could reasonably just double fist them.
I was about to say, I'll make an attack roll, and this isn't going against anything, just asking a question. I do have powerful build. Well,
I think
which I count as one size larger.
Yeah.
In capacity of carrying, push, drag, or lift.
If you make, you can use your multi attack to make 2 melee attacks. If you hit on those melee attacks, we'll say that you managed to get them, and then like you can easily your powerful build easily allows you to just yank both of those guys. I would and I kind of think do it with advantage because they're completely unaware that you're back there.
Okay. So I'm gonna keep those there. Just
muffled sounds of Osrius violence.
Wait, can you put your finger here, please? Thank you. Let's see. So, that is a dirty 20 and a 18.
For sure. So you just Brom goes, do you smell that? And they go, what do you mean smell? And you just yank both of them into the portal. You guys see like the soles of their boots like lift off and like disappear into the portal, and the portal just goes and shuts. And then Walter, you're trying to then like snap open the jail portal.
Yeah.
Okay. So you do that. So like for a very brief second, there's like a tussle of a lot of very confused people in the back of this wagon, and then you like open another portal, and then Osrius, it's just like there's just like hands and limbs and like shirts being grabbed as Osrius just like stuffs these 2 guys through the other portal, and you close it on them.
And I'm gonna
I turn to Alar and I go, it smells like idiot.
I'm gonna say
right.
real quick.
Let's get this door open.
I'm gonna say real quick. They fight like stone giant babies when we're changing their diapers.
That is an image I don't need in my head. Rom, what do you think? Scream, call for help. See if we can get a few people to come out.
Walter's gonna like pop his head out and be like, ask them why there's nobody posted.
Yeah, that's good.
All right,
That's good. That's good.
All right.
I don't think the helmet thing is gonna work twice.
All right.
See if they have a candy bar.
Wait. Why don't we disguise?
Braxton is like,
now.
it should not have worked twice. Shouldn't have worked the first time.
Yeah, shouldn't have worked the first time.
Disguise self. There's a chance they'll see through it. Remember, it's a good seeing illusion. No, go with the first idea. Yell out, "Where are the guard posts?" I'll cover you.
I'm going to put on a helmet this time, though. Just
Taylor reaches into a bag, hands him a helmet. There you go.
And
Learn from
he's
our
going
mistakes.
to quickly start removing enough of the armor so he can fight if he has to.
Okay.
I will like make my way a little bit into them, and I'll just be like, "Sacre bleu, why is there no one on guard duty?"
Okay.
It's Sucker Blue.
Sacre bleu. Okay. There's a little bit of a commotion inside, and the door opens, and somebody like peeks his head out, and he looks at you. So you've got your helmet on now. Okay, make a
Sight of the door, so he's on the other side
Okay.
of it waiting for it to open.
make a performance check.
Okay.
Yeah, you, bro, with your helmet.
Yes, no, I said okay, and then I almost made it with murder, and then I had to switch character sheets. Performance check. Okay, plus 12, even better than the last one.
Does his helmet cosplay give him advantage?
That's an 11 plus 12.
23.
For Christ's sake. So the guy opens the door, you have your helmet, he goes, Antoine, with your classic helmet that you always wear. Good to see you, my friend. Why are you not on the ships? Why have you come here?
Well, you see, I had an unfortunate accident, and my helmet is welded to my face, and They told me to come to land because they could not bear the smell of my stinky face melting smell.
He goes, oh, my God, you must be in a tremendous amount of pain.
Agonizing!
This is okay. Come in. We will bring you to the doctor, and he can look at your face ailment. And he says, but you called it the guards, Gabrielle and Pierre. They were not here when you arrived. And he looks back and he sees Braxton with his like cart at the like sitting, in the open. His and this is one of the townspeople. Is you there? Where were the guards who are out front? What are you doing here? And Braxton is like,
Walter, they weren't here when you got here. They weren't here when you got here.
He goes, he rolled up about the same time as we did. And they were not here.
And he says, this is most disturbing. We thought perhaps the attacks had stopped, but you better come inside quickly. There is something lurking this island that has been hunting us. And as he says that, you hear in the distance, and a plume of fire from the harbor and a like wash of dancing lights illuminates, and he like looks out and he goes, what is happening? And you can see from here one of the Ignian vessels in the harbor is like starting to badly list to one side. The other one is on fire. The third one is like is sort of like just recovering from like crashing almost into the shore and is like skipping off back out to the ocean. And a fourth ship is like emerging from the gloom, and you see like all at once all of the like deck lamps like spring to life on this ship, and you see these like the billowing black sails, and as you look on, you see run up the mainmast is a dark piece of cloth, and as it reaches its apex, it catches the wind, and the Jolly Roger with a huge red beard stylized onto it flies in the harbor, and the Ignian goes, pirates.
He goes, and then before that, he goes, oh no, I recognize that sigil. Do you know what it means?
No, I do not. I do not know that one.
And if all this is allowed to happen, I would like to remove my helmet, put it on him, and say, it means you fucked, and cast heat metal.
I was gonna bang him on the back of the head. That's gonna make noise, but go for it.
Sure. I don't think we need to do any rolls for that. That's awesome. He goes like, ah! He begins burning. Okay. Well, it's kicked off now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's jump back to the pirate ships. The first vessel is rapidly taking on water, and you think is probably handled. Like, it's not sunk yet, but it's going down. There's probably nothing that any of them can do. Now, it is close enough to shore that you're probably going to have to contend with, like, the guys on that ship still. But in terms of ship-to-ship combat, it's definitely out of the fight instantly. The second one, caught unawares, took some damage, like, to the aft of the vessel, but the Grimm's Folly essentially, because of their angle, had to just shoot at the most narrow profile, so they didn't do a ton of damage. And you see the officers scrambling to organize the sailors on the deck of that other ship, as you guys like veer away from it in your turn, they are scrambling to like raise anchor and start to like push off and get out into the fight. What is your guys' next play?
Well, the guys on this ship are all tied up, so I vote we either deal with the ship that has people on it that we're close to and can jump to right now, or we take this ship back out and turn it to keep firing on them. What do you guys think? Preferences?
What do you think, Cap?
How hard do we think it would be to maneuver this ship, like turn it around and like crash into the other one and turn it around with no wind?
So there's enough wind. So like you came in straight, right, and pulled hard to port at the last second. You sort of like whacked into the first ship, but now you are like away from it and essentially heading this way. So you basically have to bring the ship like around, and then you say to try and run this into the other one.
No. After running into it.
Oh, you're already clear of it and back out into open water. So now it's just a matter of like continuing your turn to come all the way back around, just to head for the other one.
Does this ship have any of those like the swivel cannons with chain shot or anything like that?
A mangonel, I believe. Yeah, certainly on the front, like facing forward.
But not on the back. Basically, if we do, I'm going to try and I would give the order to try and take out the masts with it.
Yeah, I would have started running for whatever was the best.
Because we're probably not angled for the regular cannons, and you can angle a swivel cannon with chain shot at a mast better than you could just a regular cannon.
Sure. I'm not gonna get too lost in the weeds on where we'll say you can just start shooting with the mangonel.
I would have started running for it and with Una probably.
Okay. You
basically just fully disable that ship.
Sure. I'm trying to find the stats for a mangonel.
5d10 bludgeoning damage plus 5 to hit.
Oh, that's right. We have the ship sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
Who wants to roll the attack?
I assume it's probably Rowan and Una.
Yeah,
Sure.
go for it.
I'll roll.
I'll roll for Una. What is it?
It's a plus 5 to hit.
Okay.
23 to hit.
Ooh, for sure.
So
Una gets a dirty 20.
That is 2 hits on the mast. So those mangonels do 5d10 bludgeoning.
You want us to roll the 5d10?
Yes, please.
37 points of damage for me.
Oop, almost hold on. How do I click too many dice? How do I deselect dice?
Hit X.
Oh. I just have to do it again.
We said 30.
Roll
what?
anyway.
30,
37.
37. Okay.
You just see Una murder
24.
Mm-hmm.
this. Just see Rowan cackling and going, "I missed the ship."
And I'll say I'll make a roll. We'll add one of the hits that Grimm Folly did. I will add to that. As well, if I can find my dice roller. There it is. Grimm's Folly does 5d10, and they do an additional 21 damage. Okay, for a total of 82 points of damage to the mast. Okay, so the mast of that ship is still intact, but it splinters pretty badly, and you see a bunch of the sails get all shredded up and tangled up. The Ignian ship is going to fire at the Grimm's Folly, as it's got a better angle on the Grimm's Folly. They're going to take a shot with their starboard broadside cannons. So they're going to fire... get all my dice out here. Oh, natural 20. So they're going to do...
No, that's going to tick off Murderbeard.
They don't roll very well. They actually, did I do enough of those? Oh, I rolled the wrong type of dice. Okay, still not a ton of that. They do 40 points of damage to the Grimm's Folly's hull.
Can I say that I spend my next turn reloading Una's mangonel for her to fire?
Okay. You begin the series of fire and reload, fire and reload. You guys get the sense pretty quickly, like, this fight is not going to be particularly long, and it's going to be pretty one-sided. The Grimm's Folly has already reloaded and is firing again, and they're still trying to, like, bring their ship the rest of the way around. So as you guys begin to reload and prepare for your second volley, we will switch back to the guys at the estate. So Brahm, you give that guy the old what's that character's name? Daenerys Targaryen's brother who gets liquid metal.
Oh,
poured in his
Rhaegar.
head. Rhaegar, you give him the old Rhaegar Targaryen.
Rhaegar Targaryen, yeah.
And you melt his head. So that guy is corpseified. But like the alarm has gone up, right, and the ship battle is clearly in place. You hear commotion from in the house. What is your next move? Oh, for you guys all outside.
I'm going to tap the driver and tell him to run. Actually, I'm just gonna open a portal.
Yeah. Send him back to more safe.
I'm gonna send him back,
Tony?
and then I'm gonna release the horses.
Okay.
And set the thing on fire.
Okay. All right, so you guys now have an on-fire caravan out front, a dead corpse, and the four of you.
Alar's going to drag the corpse out of the doorway.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just I'll just get out and like hide in the bushes or something if there's bushes nearby.
Sure.
And I'm going to yell out, two arms, attack. We are under attack.
Alrighty. So, why don't you guys make all of you make a stealth check to see how well you were able to
Because like we need as many of these guys out of this defensible position as possible.
Sure.
Walter is not doing great. He's standing next to a tree. It's an 8.
An 8. Okay.
14.
14.
Alar's is 19.
Okay. Suspense.
Anybody missing?
Yeah, Brahms.
Right for
Oh, I thought it
Brahm.
was just the people in the horse.
Yeah, Brahm is in the horse.
Oh,
Part of
Brahm is with the horse group.
no, I thought you meant people physically in the horse.
No, they've gotten out and lit it on fire now.
16.
What we're doing.
Stealth.
Okay. All right, so
Stealth
Walter,
by
yours
destruction.
is not great. Yours is an 8.
I got an 8.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully their insight is terrible
Yeah,
or
okay,
perception.
We'll make some rolls for them. Okay, so after about 2 minutes, you see a bunch of guys like assemble inside. You kind of see the commotion through some of the windows, and several of them come out. They're like quickly donning armor and stuff like that. And one of them says to like the group of others that have like assembled. He yells out like, "Go find out what is happening in the harbor. We will protect the governor here and await your report on what has happened. He says we will figure this out once and for all." And you see 10 guys like assemble and exit the house and begin to like peel off and start running. They like kind of look at the burning wagon like, the hell is this? And they they don't seem to notice Walter. They get a 7 on their perception check.
Walter's doing one of these. He's like hiding behind his own shovel, like somehow it's gonna be effective.
Wait, Jason, did you just jump off by accident or on purpose?
No, my charger fell off. My charger fell off the thing.
Okay. So you're like, you're in darkness in the brush, so like you're not particularly well hidden, but there's nothing to like draw their attention to you, so they just run past you.
Not compared to the on fire.
The on fire wagon.
Right next to us.
So those 10 guys like run off and begin heading down the hill. Are you doing anything to them?
No, gonna let them leave.
Okay.
I imagine the guys in the bushes will probably ruin their day.
Yeah, probably. Okay. So by your estimates, there are a maximum of 10 more guys. No, 7 more guys in that house.
Is the front door open?
No, the guy who like gave them the orders like kind of like looks and then closes the door behind him, and then you see like interior like shutters being closed and barred as they like batten up the building.
The room we entered was the library last time when I like opened a portal.
Correct.
Do I know roughly where that is in relation to the
it's probably like, if you're standing in front of the front door, it's probably like to your right, on like the right side of the building, on the ground floor.
So Walter's gonna like lean over to Oz and be like, "Shall we go in the back door?" And then I'll open a little portal to like the library again and see. Like,
All right, it's empty when if you're just opening and looking in.
So and then I'll like, and I'll just like quickly like yell at Alar and Brahm, like, "All right, back door it is."
Yep. Alar casts Mage Armor, having tossed the last of his Ignian armor behind, and he's heading through the door, the portal.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll just go in through the portal and hope we catch him unawares behind him.
Okay. So you guys enter into the
library.
Into the library. As you like close the portal behind you, the door to the library opens, and that elf that like gave the guys instructions, he like, you see him like kind of push another elf into the room, and he's like, "Gather whatever you need from your study, Governor, and we need to move you upstairs to a more secure room. Something is good." And he like sees you guys all standing there, and so he stops. He's got who is presumably the governor like by the shoulder, standing in the like the front of this room, and they both just like freeze.
I cast silence.
Alar puts his rapier on the governor's throat and points a finger at the other man.
The governor like
nobody speaks.
Puts
Nobody
his hands
gets
up.
hurt.
I say, I'd like if Walter's immediately casting silence as soon as they're in the room. Like they're not yelling for nothing. Like, whoop.
All right. Using my finger, I'm going to point the governor that way.
So he goes whatever direction you point him in.
Oh, he's one.
Yep. All right. Someone doing something about the other guy?
If he doesn't try to leave immediately,
I could just stand by him and be just like.
I mean, like whatever you guys want to do, but like if Oz wants to yoink this guy and like get the door closed, so it's just more violence than quiet, that's up to him. But like I can't communicate that. I immediately just made everything quiet.
Yeah, I'm leaving it up to you. I can't, give any suggestions. So
well, yeah,
you two.
So Let's
you
just
guys
yoink the guy. So it's just like making it as quiet as possible. Just yoink him.
Close the door.
Close the door.
The rules for the portal, I have to concentrate. Like it takes my concentration to do that. Correct?
To hold one open.
Okay.
yes.
So I either continue to have silence, or I can open a portal to the prison realm.
Let's.
So Walter's. I shouldn't call it the prison realm. That's worse. But so Walter's
And a
gonna
place
like.
you technically a place you've actually been.
Yeah. So Walter's gonna like questioning gesture at everybody like, or like door like.
Yeah, Alar is going to hold up a finger. He votes silence.
It's a vote. So if Brahm and Oz want to weigh in,
Sure, silence. I don't care. All right, let's just go.
Alright.
Alright.
In that case, Alar is going to
Walter's-
her upside the head.
I was gonna say
knock him out.
Walter's gonna shovel violence somebody to like put them to sleep.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. He goes down like a sack of wet flour. Like you just knock him the hell out.
Yep,
bonelessly
and
falls
then
to the
we're
ground.
Then we're going to try and put down the other guy.
Right?
Not necessarily murder, just beat him into unconsciousness.
Oz is like, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
Punches him in the head until he goes unconscious.
Like even though you can't hear anything, you can feel like in your heart of
You
hearts that like
feel
some
every
wet
time
noise
Oz
coming from
punches him,
this.
you feel it in the soles of your feet through the floorboards. Wham, wham, wham.
Quickly move over to the desk. I want to make a very quick, look over, see if there's anything that, stands out, like specific orders.
Yeah, make an investigation check.
How many hidden investigation checks are going to be in here?
25.
25.
Yep.
The desk seems to be, kind of a quick rifle through. Doesn't nothing like jumps out to you. It is you see a series of like decrees for like the requisition of certain things from the people of the island. You see a few like writs where he has like signed off on like charges being brought up against somebody for crimes. You do find a missive like at the bottom of a drawer that you open quickly and are immediately able to determine is written in a cipher of some sort. And the thing that catches your eye about it, besides the fact that like, well, that's interesting, why is this written in an illegible cipher, is that instead of a signature of any type at the bottom, there is just, the rest of it is written in black ink. In red ink at the bottom, there is like a sort of like a hash mark, and then a little like sort of oval, oblong, squiggly around part of it that very much gives the impression of a feather.
Alar quickly rolls that up, stuffs it in a pocket.
Walter wants to check and see if there's any hidden entrances to like a sub basement from this room. Because
make an investigation.
Yeah, because I think we are aware that there's a way down in here, but we just don't know what room it's in. Investigation. Oh, it was almost a nat 20. Instead, it's a nat 2, so that's a 7.
Nothing that you find in here.
Right, like throwing books on the floor, trying to look for levers. And then so like I'll gesture out to the hall for like to search. Silence is 20-foot radius.
What's the duration?
It's 10 minutes, I think.
Okay.
So I guess we'll try to sneak through and look around.
There's only 5 of them left.
Alrighty.
8?
No, there were 7 still in the.
Ah, yes.
So we've taken out
a
2.
maximum of 5. There could be less.
Yeah.
All right. Then yeah, Alar is
Yeah,
going to
duration 10
carefully
minutes.
open the door, peek out, see if he sees anybody.
Okay.
Do I need to roll?
Yeah, make a perception check.
19.
You don't see anybody, but you do hear movement.
Not in
Oh,
silence.
you don't hear anything. You're in the silence cone, so you see nothing out in the immediate, like the foyer that's outside of this.
All right. I'm going to risk casting Disguise Self to look like the governor,
Okay.
and I'm going to walk out.
Alrighty. You walk out. How far into like this foyer does that silence extend?
It's a 20-foot radius, so I figured I'd cast it on the door.
Okay. It's probably most of the. So like as you walk out, you are still in the silence, Alar, but you are able to look up, and you see 2 guys at the top of the stairs who are carrying a steamer trunk between the 2 of them, and they like turn to look at you, and one of them you see his mouth move, and his head tilts in a way that you think like he asked you a question, but you don't know what he said.
I'm going to try and look as imperious as possible, point at the 2 of them, and point to the office, and then march back in. And once I cross that threshold, I point. I say 2.
Okay. Make a deception.
Oh, thank God! I have no skill in that whatsoever, but that was a nat 20.
Oh shit. Okay. Alrighty. You move back in. You signal that, and let us one last time. Let's switch over to the ship battle. As we jump back, in the intervening like couple of minutes here, the other ship is now like fully burning. Between you guys and the Grimm's Folly, like you lit it up. It is in the process of sinking. The Grimm's Folly comes like maneuvering in, gets close to port, close enough that from the deck of the the other ship, Apora Dazan like jumps up on the railing and is like kind of like leaning off of a piece of rigging, and calls across and says, all Ignian vessels have been disabled. Shall we retake the town, Captain?
I think so.
Apora nods and kind of sort of turns back to the crew and raises their voice and yells, "Prepare to go ashore!" And you hear like a cheer and like a bunch of swashbuckling noises, swords come out. So at this point, the Grimm's Folly like swings in and drops anchor, and pirates just start like jumping out of the ship, like into the water, and then like swimming in, a few feet where enough that then they're able to just stand, and they just start wading ashore. And largely they begin to make their way for the shore, and specifically for the dock of the ship that like is now resting on the seafloor, but is not submerged as it was, in the shallows. As they're like a swarm of Ignians kind of like sort of on that ship and on the dock. The remainder of the crew, Apora Dazan, has the ship like brought, continuing on past, and you see like pirates from the Grimm's Folly begin to like swing on ropes and like jump onto the other ship, and like sword fighting begins. Una turns to the group of you and she goes, right, well, she kind of like looks, I think you guys can see just like a pinprick of like orange from up near the estate, which is the the wagon that is currently like burning to the ground, and she goes, "Well, it looks like our friends are in the middle of their part too." She sort of looks. She says, "Seems like the Grimm's Folly's got this well enough in hand. At least, she nods like, at least Rowan and I should start making our way up to the estate." And she looks at you two, Murderbeard and Thais. She says, "Are you coming with, or are you gonna stay here with this action?"
I think the crew could use my help here.
Fair enough, Father. What say you?
I'll stay with the ship.
She nods. Says, "Right. Well," she kind of looks at this one. She goes,
Do you guys need a way up there?
"Well, we're just gonna run, but if you've got a different idea."
I think I've got just the trick.
Before the trick, and Rowan just walks over to Captain and like crouches just a little, never enough to make him feel short, and kisses his cheek, and then goes over to Thixus and does the same. I'll see you guys soon.
Take care of yourself.
Yep, back to Luna. And she looks like she's trying not to cry. She's gritting her jaw, and she's just like, okay. Yeah, send me to the Fools. I've got work to do.
Do me a favor. Stand on the side of the ship there, and when I tell you to jump, jump.
You got it, Thixus.
Before they do that, Murderbeard is gonna hold out his hand to Rowan, and he'll drop it in, and in it there will be, remember that big ass diamond that we found a long time ago? There'll be a necklace that has like a chunk of that diamond in it.
Oh shit.
I told you I'd break it.
Thanks, Captain. I think I might need this at some point. I've got other idiots to keep alive. But I better see you two at the end of all of this.
As like Rowan climbs up, and as Una goes to climb as well, she pauses and she says, "Well, you know, Father, if you're in the gift-giving mood this fine evening," and she sort of looks around and she walks over and she like kicks the release and like drops the anchor on this vessel that you guys are on, and it like kind of like bumps to a stop, and she moves back over to the railing. She goes, "If you could maybe tell your lads not to mess this one up, perhaps it's time I give up the tavern owner life."
I turn to Thixus and I go, "Kids are always so goddamn expensive."
She goes, "All right, it didn't cost you anything. You gave her a piece of a bloody diamond. All I ask is that you don't light this fucking ship on fire."
All I gave you was the gift of a childhood.
So yeah, some childhood.
Fine.
I learned how to knife fight when I were 9.
You're welcome.
Rowan just blows kisses at each of them and then links her hands with Una's. And just goes, "Thixus, any minute to stop the fight?"
Yeah. Right away. Thixus takes out his orb, and all of a sudden he like emits all this like green energy, and all of a sudden the green energy just starts to like take form above him as wings start to flap.
Murderbeard takes 2 steps back.
And Thixus is casting Summon Draconic Spirit.
Christ.
Whoa. Okay.
As a massive emerald dragon takes form above the vessel and is going to swoop down beside, and when it swoops down Thixus is going to look at Rowan, give a wink, and say, "Jump."
I jump.
And Thixus is going to holler at the spirit.
It's like, this
take
can't
them to the
possibly be
manor.
safe. She has to jump.
The last thing Rowan hears is, "What the fuck?" And then flies away.
You guys land on this spiritual, spectral, emerald, magical dragon and begin to fly away. And Murderbeard, you hear Una call back over her shoulder. She says, "Keep my ship safe, Admiral," and then disappears into the night. And
Oh, he's going to be completely and utterly insufferable.
I think that is where we will end the session for tonight. And we will rejoin the party tomorrow or next week and proceed from there. So I didn't do it at the top of the session. So thank you to our sponsors, Little Dragon Corp and Cardboard Castle Games. ! Little Dragon! CCG. We had to put an entire session of D&D of space between those sponsors and that Arby's nonsense from the beginning of the session to be safe. Thank you to those two sponsors. Thank you to Probo as always for having us. Thank you, Michael, for coming back and reprising your role as Thixus for a couple of episodes. As
It was
you,
fun. I had a couple spells that I've been holding on to for a long time that I wanted to unleash.
I forgot you picked Draconic Spirit.
Yeah, I've been wanting to unleash that one for a long time.
It's too bad that Alar is inside and cannot see that.
Oh, you're gonna see Rowan and
You
Una
can't
land.
see it yet.
yeah. Okay, well, very good. So that's a as far as we know, unless some serendipitous opportunity arises again, that is a series wrap on Thixus.
Yeah.
But we will,
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed
of
playing with
course.
you guys.
Give me my Thixus back.
He and Murderbeard will go back off into the disparate ether where we sort of scattered all of the pirates to. But
Admiral Murderbeard.
Admiral Murderbeard.
And changed on my character sheet. It's official.
So we'll be here next week, same time, same place, and we will continue to hurtle towards the conclusion of our campaign. So thank everybody at home. Thanks Doug for Life for hanging out with us in chat and participating along with us. And we'll see you next time. Bye.